Hello, hello. Today's a big day.
Why is that?
Well, I think most people have heard the
Unless-
rumors of interest rates going up, and clearly,
Unless you live under a rock.
unless you live under a rock.
Hi, Mary. How you doing?
So yeah, the big news that has been dropped.
Yeah, well, speculation was going on for a little while. Well, first of all, let's set the stage. Bank of Canada
First
had
of all,
already...
how's everybody doing? Are you enjoying summer? It's beautiful outside.
It is
The weather
beautiful
has been
outside.
great.
Cooler night, though.
Cooler nights, which is nice. If you don't have AC, that's exactly what you want.
Yeah.
Hot throughout the day, but cool at night because it's difficult to sleep
Of course.
in that type of heat. But anyway,
So we'll set the stage.
yeah, go
They
for it.
started raising interest rates at the beginning of the year. Well, not beginning, sorry. April, I think it was, the first rate increase. And then they did another one. And then they had speculated that they were still going to do another 2 more increases by the end of the year. We're in the 7th month, and lo and behold, they just raised the interest rates today. So obviously that's what we're going to talk about. They raised the interest rates by 1% overnight rate.
Which I think I think that's the shocker because we were hearing rumors maybe by 0.75.
But they went all out.
They went to 1%.
1%. So that brings the prime rate now to what?
4.7.
4.7% now is the new prime rate. So,
Which still is relatively low.
well, I mean, when you compare it to 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I guess, when our parents were saying that they were paying 20% for 20%
Parents,
entrance, right?
Our neighbor, we had a conversation with her about this. We also had another agent that
The main
is older, obviously, than us, and he said, these interest rate increases obviously are scary for some, but ultimately the rates are still relatively low.
Of course. I mean, back in the day, 20% interest was a lot of money, but the main difference there is that the houses didn't cost what they cost today,
True.
right? I mean, how much were houses back then when it was at 20%? 200,000 for a house?
Yeah, but yes,
Right.
200, and you probably had a really
You probably had a mortgage
Good
of
house.
maybe $100,000.
or even if you had a mortgage of, let's say, 150, 170, like I don't even know what the terms were back then to as a down payment that you had to put, whether it was more than 20% or I don't know. We weren't in the business at that time. But regardless, the interest rates were quite high. They were 15 to 20%. We're now talking 4.7.
Which is still, like you said, very low.
Exactly. So we just wanted to get on here and talk to you. What does this mean? Like, where is this going to stop? There's rumors of we are going to be in a recession. I think personally we're already in one, but
We're
they're
getting
saying,
there. I think we're getting there.
We're going to be for sure in a recession. What is that going to do to the real estate market, etc.?
Well, essentially what this is going to do is going to make it more difficult for people to afford, afford their current home. People that are up for renewals this year are probably not very happy. And this is also going to make it more difficult for people to get approved for new mortgages, right? Because, what you could have got approved for, at the beginning of the year, you could have got approved for maybe a $600,000 or $700,000 mortgage, and your payment would have been, let's say, $2,000 a month, just for a number. Well, now that same mortgage is going to cost you $3,000 a month, or who even knows, right? So,
Why, you might be seeing, and hearing from others, but again, even with your own eyes, you might see that homes are taking longer to sell. You're seeing, for sale signs sitting on the market
for
longer, and you're saying to yourself, well, what's going on? Well, it's about supply and demand. Of course, if, let's say, the buyers that were approved, let's say for 600 is what you used, let's say at 600, now with the rate increase, the purchasing power has decreased because now they're not approved for as much. Supply and demand. Obviously, there's not enough. The buyers have now decreased for that $600,000 price point.
Exactly. And all the way through the price points, the $1 million,
Yes.
people that can afford 1 million, 1.5, everyone's going down a little bit, pushes everyone down, and then
Yep.
obviously pushing some people right out of the market altogether.
Yep.
They can no longer afford to buy a house. So what will happen? Well, there's only two ways that this will go about. One is obviously if people's income goes up quite substantially, which we all know that will not happen. The amount of money that people make and the raises that they get do not even compare to the prices of everything from gas, groceries, and home prices.
Yep, the cost of living.
So we know that's not going to happen. So that's the other thing that could happen to make things more affordable. Prices will have to come down. We've already seen significant price decreases since the beginning of April. We continue to see prices decrease. We just did the stats last week. I think we put them on. We posted I think yesterday or the day before. I think
On Monday.
So as you can see, what we're showing is the year over year. So we're not showing the month to month. But if we look at the month to month, it's big time decreases. But if you look overall at the year over year numbers, people are saying, well, I'm not going to sell now. The market's shitty. The market's crappy. Yes, it is more difficult to sell a home right now. However, if you sell right now, you would essentially be selling your house or condo for essentially the highest price that you can get right now in the market for maybe another 2 years at least minimum.
3
It's going to
years?
take 2 to 3 years for prices to recoup to what they were, and even if they ever get back to those crazy numbers that they were in January, February.
And I think again, that's what we need to base this on. When you hear this in the news and you hear it, from friends, family, or wherever, and especially now, people are getting together. Like there's gatherings happening, and that's probably one of the things that come up. People talk about, whether they want to sell a house or buy a house or what's going on in the market. But if you are truthfully comparing it to January, February, like first quarter really, yeah, of course prices have gone down. But have they gone down since last year this time?
Yeah, like you can't sell your house for as much as you could have sold it at the beginning of the year. Sure, that's the truth.
But those prices also have gone up to numbers we've never seen.
Yeah. But if you sell right
Those
now,
are record prices.
the year over year price is still good. So selling right now, you would still be selling for higher than what you would have been selling for if you sold last year at this time. So year over year comparison, it's still higher than what it was last year. So you're still selling at relatively a higher price point than you would have last year at this time.
Which I think this is where majority of the public is worried. Oh my goodness, I'm losing money. Like this is a poor investment. What am I doing? Most of the time when people buy a home or an investment property, it is not for a year. It is not for 2 years. You're there for probably 3 to 5 year goal. Okay. So like we said, if you're looking last year, the people that bought last year at this time, they've made money. Okay. Don't look at first quarter, because actually those people that bought in first quarter, it's tough on them. Okay. But again, nobody predicted what's going to happen. We don't have a crystal ball. If we knew this would happen, the prices are going to start dropping. Of course, a lot of people would say, hold off.
But but the people that bought in first quarter were able to sell also in a
High.
higher market than what we are now. We're talking 3 months ago.
Yep.
And 3 months ago, it seemed like the sky was falling. It's like, oh my gosh, where are the prices going? Like they've gone down dramatically. Yes, they did. But now hindsight, looking today compared to 3 months ago, I mean, geez, I would have been happy to sell 3 months ago.
Agreed.
Right?
Completely. So I think are the interest rates going to continue, affecting the market? Yes. But I think it's because people feel like it's scary and what's going to happen and all that.
For good reason, though, it's affecting it.
Yeah. Well, we got to curb inflation, right? So this is...
Well, I'm going to tell a story after we're done these points.
Okay. But overall, the market is still strong. Do not compare to what happened in January, February, because that was unreal. Mm-hmm. But if you look year over year, the market has still gone up.
Yes. You're still selling today. You're still selling for a higher price than you could have gotten last year at this same time. So that is a good thing. How long will that last? Will next month be the same case? I'm not sure. Will the prices go down enough that they will erase last year's numbers in August? I don't know. Right? You know what I'm trying to say is will the average price be higher August of this year, or will the average price be higher August of last year? we don't know what's going to happen.
Because we are right now going through a correction still. This, we have to, and with the interest rates changing, when they stop changing is truthfully when things are going to settle.
Yeah, we're thinking that by the time, we're hoping that by the time fall comes, we'll be able to see more of a better pattern of
Better picture.
comparables. Because
Yeah.
right now, when we're going to price a property, we're not seeing a lot of comparable properties that have sold because not a lot of things are selling. So that's already difficult. And then the comparables that we're looking at are from 3-4 weeks ago. But the market is changing so quickly that comparables that have sold 3-4 weeks ago are essentially, they're out of date because prices have already dropped by 70,000, 80,000 in the 1 month, which is, yes, it's a huge number to come down in 1 month. But then when you look at the year over year, we're still higher than last year.
Yeah, we're
So
strong.
quick story, we did a listing presentation for someone, and they were expecting to get a certain number for their house. Let's say they were looking to get $1 million for their house, and we unfortunately had to bring them down to the reality that no, you cannot get $1 million for your house right now. Hopefully you can probably get between $750 and $800. And this particular person, they bought the house in 2020, just before
2 years.
Was that either just before the pandemic started or just as the pandemic started?
No, so
right?
it was May. So we started coming into again the market.
First time home buyer bought the house, and this first time home buyer obviously has never been in the market before, experienced an extremely volatile market where numbers went up exponentially, biggest in history they ever went up. And now when we brought them back to reality, they said, oh, well, I'll just wait. I don't think I'm going to put the house in the market. That's fine. And that's fine to say. If you have a 3 to 5 year goal to stay in that house, sure. Stay in that house for 3 to 5 years, because 3 to 5 years time, yes, prices will rebound. They'll go back up to relatively where we were, possibly prior to the new year or in the new year.
Or it could even be again a record high.
But don't be under the assumption, like I said, first time home buyer bought in 2020, doesn't realistically know how the market goes up on a yearly basis on average.
Healthy.
Healthy.
Increase.
What we usually see on a healthy market year to year, and we've been doing this since 2011, is we usually see between $25,000 and $50,000 gains per year. I don't know what percentage that is, but we usually see between $25,000 and $50,000 per year since 2011. $50,000 would be a great year, let's
Yeah,
just
it's
say.
a good
And of
increase.
course, there's been years where it's been a little bit more. And of course, there's been years where there's been a little bit less. But on average, you can gain around $25,000 to $50,000 on your home, which makes sense. Now, you have a first-time home buyer that bought their house in 2020, and they're seeing, oh, my house went up in 2020 by $80,000. Oh my goodness, my house went up in 2021 by $150,000. That's $250,000 in 2 years. Is that realistic?
No, and that's what we need to convey that as a message, which obviously we have. We've said we don't have the comps to support your $1 million desire right now. We just don't have it. And we will not, we're the type of agents who are very transparent. We will not take on a listing if we cannot sell it at obviously a price that where the market value is for the home. Needless to say, this specific, well, not client, but this specific seller said to us, 6 months ago, my neighbor next door with a smaller unit sold their property for $850. Her unit is larger, okay? And we said to him, like, exactly 6 months ago, it was a completely different market. The record high prices, that has ended in February. And as you can see, there were 13 places that she'd be competing against. How can we justify $1 million when the comparables don't show that right now?
Yeah.
So, we said if you are in for a longer ride and you can sit it out for 3 to 5 years, you can see those numbers possibly come out. But again, we don't know that. We're just predicting this. We always say what goes up must come down and vice versa. Everybody says the real estate bubble needs to pop and burst. And when is this going to happen? In my opinion, we're here.
Yeah.
Okay, it has.
It
This is
bursted. So all you people that have been waiting on the sidelines, waiting for something to happen, it's happened. But guess what? It's happened, and now the interest rates have gone up.
Exactly. So your
now,
buying power has decreased.
So now you're waiting for something else to happen, like interest rates to go. Oh, well, now that the bubble burst, now I'm going to wait till the interest rates come down a little bit. Okay, well, when are they going to come down? We don't think interest rates will probably start coming down till maybe middle of next year.
And there's still going to be another increase.
I heard
this year.
2 more increases.
There you go. So it's not over. It's not over until the fat lady sings.
I guess so, but you really shouldn't be saying that.
But anyway, whatever. Everybody knows what I mean.
You gotta be politically correct on here.
Whatever. Everybody knows we're not very politically correct.
We're gonna go from 2 followers to 0.
But what I mean is, this is going to change. Eventually, this is going to change again. We just don't know when this is going to change. We need to ride the wave.
Yeah.
And right now, we are just going through the motions of the interest rate. So I feel when they're going to stop, things are going to start changing.
Yeah, well, I mean, speaking with our own experience and speaking to industry leaders and watching out for certain factors in, predicting how things will go, they're saying prices will continue to go down for the next few months, and possibly things could start leveling off come closer to Christmas, and still continue leveling off early into next year, and possibly things could start moving on their way up again sometime next year. But we're not talking moving up by $100,000 again in 1 year. That's not going to happen, because it doesn't matter what's happening right now with the interest rates, and they will not be able to keep up with the demand of the buyers. There's still so many buyers out there. The only problem is that right now the buyers are kind of like
on hold.
They're like, wait and see what's going to happen. Being very, very cautious. They're being very particular. They're negotiating very, very hard and sending in offers to properties that are quite ridiculous. And it's
or walking away.
Yeah, there was another house. Someone was talking to an agent. He sold a house on the weekend. They were just going back and forth, ironing out the details, and they sent the offer back to the buyers. So now it's in the buyer's hands. And what ended up happening was, when they woke up in the morning, so now the buyer has the offer in their hands. They woke up in the morning, another house, the exact same floor plan on the same neighborhood, came up $100,000 less than what they were listed for. And at that point, because the offer was in the buyer's hands, they could decide to, yes, let's accept this offer the way it is, or let's not do anything and not accept anything. And that's pretty much what happened. So there's been a lot of really, really...
to the final moments they're negotiating, and the buyer pulls out.
So it's been happening a lot. It's definitely more difficult to sell your house right now. But like we said, if you're able to sell your house right now, you will essentially be selling it for the highest price that you probably could get right now
before
in the type of market, before
it
goes down even further.
On the flip side, obviously, if you're selling your house and the market is decreasing, well, opportunity. Your next home, you're most likely going to get it for lower than you anticipated.
Yeah, everything is going down in sequence. And usually what we see as an indicator is it's always the detached homes that start coming down in price.
That's the first
The first ones, and they usually come down the hardest. And that's what we've seen. We've seen over the course, I can't remember, but I was looking at Mississauga when I did the stats over the last 3 months since April, I believe. And since April, detached home in Mississauga has come down by $180,000 since April. Now, when I look at the same time frame in semi-detaches, you're looking at about $60,000 come down since then. You look at townhouses, roughly the same. But it's just a matter of time still. Now, what happens? Detached homes are coming down in value. Well, that essentially means that semis and townhouses are now being overpriced, because they're overpriced compared to a detached. So now they have to do correction. Semis and townhouses got to do correction to stay on par with the detaches. Detaches come down again. Again, semis and townhouses will again have to do another correction in order to follow suit. If a detached is coming down to 1.2 million, let's say, and you're sitting there with your townhouse or your semi-detached listed at 1.1, 1.15, can't really compete against a detached that's priced at 1.2, right? So that's what's happening. That's how the prices are coming down. And it will be complete opposite. When the detaches start going up again, obviously it pushes the detached buyers now into looking into semi-detached. Oh, sorry, go ahead. It's okay, into semi-detached. So now semi-detached homes are going to experience an increase in demand. The prices are going to start rising there. And then, of course, it'll be the vice versa when prices start to go up. So you start to see the smaller properties, townhouses and semis, start to go up in value. Okay, well, if semis and townhouses are going up in value and you got a detached that's at a certain price point. Well, then the detachers are saying, well, if this semi and townhouse is selling for 1.15, I think I can get 1.3. So then prices will start increasing. So it's kind of like a double effect from, you know, one to the other and the other to the other one. I don't even know if that made sense what I said.
I was lost, so I for sure everybody else was lost.
I know what's going on in here.
Exactly. He's the only one.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that does it for us.
Yeah, so anyway, I guess the bottom
Moral of the story.
yeah, is that year over year the numbers still look good.
Still in a good position. The market is still strong in terms of selling.
Exactly.
It's just a little bit more difficult to sell your home. But if you're able to
It
sell your
takes
home right
longer
now,
to
you're
sell your
selling
home.
your home at a higher price than you could have sold your home last year at this time. And
Agreed.
last year at this time, what were people saying? Wow, I can't believe the real estate market. I can't believe how much homes have gone up. July of last year, people were saying that. You remember saying that? Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness, I can't believe how much the prices have gone up. Like, look at it. It's July. Now, July this year, we're still looking at prices that are higher than last year in July. So, still sitting pretty, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The only difference, the big difference, the other difference now too is, now, if you're able to sell your house, get ready to go buy one, because that's now, before in the past, in the last 2 years, that was the more difficult part. The difficult part was buying a house. Trying to find that place that you love, getting an offer accepted. It's like you're going against 10, 20 offers. Well, you no longer have to do that.
Also, it's like, you know, it felt like for buyers, it was frustrating that, God damn it, the sellers, you know, had all the power, whatever offer, you know, no conditions,
Yeah.
and, you know,
I'll just give you,
$200,000 over,
I'll give
and
you
here's my letter along with it, and my grandma and my grandfather, I'll give you too. Whatever it takes to get this house,
Yeah.
I'll give it to you. It was a very frustrating time.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's the other way around.
Mm-hmm.
Sellers are feeling the pinch where it's like, conditions are back on, you know, look, last minute you're negotiating, and if another home comes up on the market, they can just walk away from that deal.
home inspectors are now employed again.
They are employed again.
So, like we said, moral of the story, still sitting good if you want to try and sell. And it's actually something to look forward to if you're going to be a buyer. So,
Yeah.
right?
Buyers have the power right now, so good for you.
Enjoy the rest of the week. Thank you so much for tuning in. We were happy to give you some information.
Take care, guys. Enjoy the rest of the week is what I just said. I'm clearly echoing this. But enjoy this sunny day, and we'll see you next time. Take care.